Hi, I'm going to give you a quick overview of Google Calendar today. The first step is to make sure that you're signed into your Google Drive account. When you're signed into your Google Drive account, you'll go here to the Apps grid in the upper right-hand corner near your name. For the Apps grid, you'll go down to Calendar. When your calendar opens, your default view is going to be whatever the system is set to. Perhaps it is week view. Most people prefer week or month. If you want to change this view so automatically your calendar opens to month each time, you would need to go to the Settings tab. So Settings is the first place you would go. Drop the menu down in the gear to Settings. And most of these are defaulted just fine for you, but you may want to change this one. This is usually the first place people want to change your default view of your calendar. And here where you can decide when your calendar opens every time, what do you want it to show up as? Daily, weekly, or monthly, a custom view, which you can set right below that, or agenda view, which is like a list of all the events just by day. I prefer a month view every time I open my calendar, and that's up to you to set that setting. Once you have decided that setting, there's one more place you might want to check, and that is default event duration. Right now, all events are set for 1 hour. You can set this for every time you create an event. It will default it to 60 minutes, 30 minutes, or 15 minutes, or the other options you see. You can always edit the length of the event. But if you tend to book things in 1 hour increments, you might want to have this set on 60 minutes. I prefer mine to be set in 30-minute increments. Those are the two settings I'd recommend to you setting for now, and then pressing Save in the bottom left corner of your screen. After we go back to Save, you're going to see a view of your Google Calendar. Right now, yours may be totally empty, and I just wanted to give you a view of what the calendar looks like. Remember that Google Calendar is a layered calendar. All the different colors represent different calendars that I use and subscribe to. There are calendars that are mine and other calendars that I want to be viewing. Each box that's located beside the calendar name indicates the color of the events that will show up on the calendar. This is just for the user, and it's just for me. So if I wanted to choose my calendar, currently it's in red, I could drop this down and change this color. This would change it for only me. It's set for the person who's viewing the calendar. Currently, you'll notice that on this calendar it says MHS Academic Calendar. I don't have the box colored in front. So I've unclicked it because I don't want to show all the events. I'm hiding the events from that calendar. When I click on it and add them, you'll see the events increase on every page throughout this calendar. So now I'm layering on another calendar to my view. If this is too many calendars at once, you can always narrow these by tapping on these and turning them off, which means the box in front of the calendar is not colored in. And then I don't have to see those events on my calendar. I can just see the ones that I'm subscribing to and want to see daily. If you want to bring it down to just one calendar in your own calendar, then you can click off of all of them and bring them to just your own personal calendar. So you'll see that events start to decrease in the amount of events you're going to be seeing here. I typically keep on several different calendars, so I'm going to turn those back on before I leave this page. And just so you know that this is where you manage your calendars. The drop-down menu I did show you before changes the color for each one, but this main drop-down menu allows you to create a new calendar. If you're creating a shared calendar that's going to be used throughout your building, or perhaps for a group of people, a group of teachers, maybe your grade level team, maybe it's BLT. You can have your own separate calendar for that if you wish to do that. You can create a new calendar here. If you want to add additional calendars, someone may send you a calendar link. When they do this, you would select this drop-down menu under Other Calendars, and you're going to add it by URL. When you press this option, the person who's sharing their calendar with you may give you an address, and you would paste it in here and add the calendar. Then you'd be able to view all the events on that specific calendar. To create an event, you have a couple different ways. One is to the Create button. It will open up a screen that allows you to name the event, date, time, decide if it's an all-day event, or decide if it's going to be a repeating event, You'll see some other options that come up to repeat this event. You can event details, provide where it's going to be located, finding a time on this tab, and choosing the calendar. This part is the most important part you can remember. If you're managing several calendars or using calendars throughout the district, you want to make sure that you select the correct calendar to place this event on. Otherwise, the people who are looking for it may not see this event. You can add a description. You can even add an attachment. You can change the event color and add notification. To the right-hand side here, you'll see a place to add guests. You can also choose if your guests can modify the event, invite others, or see the guest list of who's invited. I'm going to return back. The other way to add an event to your calendar is Quick Add. Quick Add just lets you type it in if you'd like to be able to add quick details and add it in with a time and just say add. It just bounces to your calendar. Most often I see people going to a day on the calendar and selecting the day by pressing on it and then adding the event. Events and tasks can be added this way. So I might want to add something on this event that would be a meeting here, when is it occurring, and I can even put the time in here. What calendar is it going to be going to? Here's the date, and I can create this event. If I want to go into more details and add duration, add repeating events, I can always open up this edit event. It'll open up full screen again. I'm going to go ahead and create this event now. You'll see it's come right here onto my calendar, 4 p.m. meeting. If I want to edit it at any time, I can click on the event, open it back up, and edit the event in the full editing screen. This is where I can add guests and change other settings. The next thing I will tell you that if you're working with your calendars, to go to Settings, Settings again, and click on the Calendars button. This is going to allow you to see all the calendars that you have. These are all calendars that are my calendars that I can edit and utilize. Your list hopefully will be shorter than this one. You'll notice that here's where you can share, edit sharing settings, edit notifications for this calendar for all users, and you can even unsubscribe. For many of these calendars, you'll notice I do not have this box checked. That means I don't want to see this in my calendar daily. I'm not going to show it in the list, but I do have the rights to manage all of these calendars. So it's important that they stay here for me. You can turn on these on to hide them or allow them to you to see them when you're looking at your calendar view. If I want to go into this calendar and I want to share one, I'm going to go into my Technology Professional Development calendar. I'm going to press on the name. And if I want to share it with others, I'm going to be going down here to get my calendar address. My calendar address ID is this. And this is the URL that I would add to share with others if I want to share out my calendar. This is a place where I showed you that you could add a calendar by adding by URL. I could copy and paste this and share this with whoever I would like to view my calendar. Keep in mind, this is the address for your calendar. No one can use this link unless you have made your calendar public. At the top, you'll notice down the page here, you can name the calendar. The organization automatically will come up as Milford Schools. You can embed the calendar on a website. And you can set other options here. I'm going to go ahead and press Save and go back to the calendar here. My Technology to Professional Development calendar, if I want to go to Shared, this is where I would make the calendar public. I've selected this because I want others to be able to access this calendar throughout the district, and I wanted to share it with that address. So if I've given you an address or someone gives you an address to a calendar, you would come down to Other Calendars, click on the drop-down option, and Add by URL. You would take that calendar address and paste it in here, which would be the whole entire address. I'm going to go through that one more time so you can see how to add a calendar. I'm going to go to Settings, go to my calendars. If I'm the owner of the calendar and want to share it, I can open the calendar up copy this calendar ID. And now I'm going to be sending that out in an email. You've received it and you want to add it. So you would go to Other Calendars, drop the menu down, Add by URL, and paste the address here. Automatically you want to make the calendar publicly. You've already set this before, but I would go ahead and check that box if you are the one who owns that calendar. And then you can add the calendar to your list. That's just a brief session on getting started. Hopefully it didn't take too long to watch. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. We'll have more sharing and more training coming up soon on Google Calendar. Thank you.